Just a couple things I want to show you with this scope. So here's the binos. They're set up in my office. They make a really great conversation piece, but I'm not getting them out as much as I want. And I have a cheap little 10 by 50 pair, $40, Sky Genius. And I find them easier to get out with, and I want to get a better quality pair, small pair. So that's why I'm contemplating selling it. But as I said in the other videos, the views are just so nice. And I mean, I've used Dobsonians, reflectors, and Schmidt-Cassegrain, and by far I prefer the view in these. It's just great. I mean, I got to see, you know, Jupiter, Red Storm, and Mars ice cap, but sweeping across the sky, I've never seen Orion Nebula, or even just something simple like the Pleiades star cluster in a telescope, you know, with the same view as what these give. Just so different in these. So these come from China in the blue suitcase back in 2008, 9, 2010. One couple things I wanted to point out. These focusers here, there's a cap. I'm missing one. I ordered a couple rubber caps on eBay, $8. 45mm lens cap. They're going to arrive in a couple months, but you can do the same. This focuser here, there's a couple rings in here that grip the eyepiece, and this one's just missing a little piece of the ring on the inside, and I think that makes this one tighter. I didn't measure the inner diameter here, but this one's just a little bit tighter when you put the eyepiece in. These Meade HD 60 25mm with the Oberwerks. And this one here, when I got it from the factory, there's a lip here that came out of the factory. It was a little bit bigger, so this would not slide down in all the way. It would sit up a little bit, and that made the focus just slightly out of range for these. So what I did is I put this in a lathe. I have access to a machine shop, and I slowly spun it and just took a file and just slowly just brought down the lip right here. So if you want, because this one has a little bit of scoring on it, you could always just take a little bit of sandpaper and just sand the barrel so it just fits a little bit better there. But anyway, for eyepieces, you know what you like. So what else? The other thing too is I just had a machinist friend of mine make this finder, and it's got this rubber gasket here to prevent any scratching on the paint with the screws when we mounted the base. And then this knob, you just undo the knob, and this whole thing slides out here. This knob's a little hard to grip. You could always just take a file and just groove it. That's what I was thinking to do, just to create a little bit of a thumb grip here. Or if you have a little bit of a wheel gear type, you could always epoxy it to a nut or some other kind of handle. Anyway, you'll be able to figure something out. But that really makes it nice for aiming these. You just look at the laser and aim these. You might have other finders too that you want to attach. So if you'd rather have something different, how to collimate it. I did tweak the collimation on it once, and there's these little caps here, and inside the cap you'll see a little ring that has holes in the side, and you can just put when you take this cap off, you can stick a screwdriver in one of those holes in that ring, and then you just you can adjust clockwise or counterclockwise. And there's 3 here, so there's a cap on the top, there's a cap on the bottom, and each of those rings they adjust how the prism mounts. So this was not out by very much at all, but if you take a star out of focus, so you get kind of a ball, and then you have a star in focus, so you have a point, you'll see how they overlap. And then if you ever need to collimate it, what you do is you just adjust one side. I did the right, and I just you just tweak the prism so that the bottom ring just pushes down slightly, and that kind of brings the image down. So they were just, one was just a little higher than the other, but again, not you wouldn't notice it by just looking with your eye. The only way was to actually kind of give it a rigorous star test. So that's some of the points and features. There are, like I said, there's a couple little imperfections. One here, there's a tiny little spot there. But if you calculate, surface area, 100 millimeter objective, you've got over 7,000 square millimeters, and you've got 1 square millimeter, not even, that's obstructing the light. So when you think about that, that's not even, 0.5% or 0.1%. So it didn't really impede my enthusiasm, you could say, because the views were just as clear as bright. There's no way your eye can ever detect such a small defect. But anyway, for a couple of little nicks and scratches, there's a little scratch on the wood. Hopefully the eyepieces and the finder kind of compensate for the little bit of wear and tear that's on it. But like there's just a little bit of on the corners here, but that's going to happen when you move these around. But there's no major. There's a little bubble here from the factory paint job, but there's no major scratches or anything serious. A little bit of grease here or something, but a little bit of dirt. But yeah, so that's it.